All right, hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. This time, hopefully you've watched the first video in this series. The second video is overall effect and composition analysis, the merged sheets. And now we've come to movement and equipment, the merged sheet for here. Interestingly, movement and equipment have the same sheet. So they're separate captions, and a caption is again, a rubric of a list of things that you grade the performance against. So we have that rubric, and that's what we look to as I open it up on my desktop. Here we go. All right. So what we're going to look at is professionalism of the techniques used, uniformity of technique. That's uniformity there's horizontal and vertical uniformity. So horizontal uniformity is uniformity over time, and with regulation drill there has to be uniformity over time. And then the vertical uniformity is uniformity throughout the team all at once. So the team executes a right face. Everybody should be executing the right face as close to exactly the same as possible. Then down the down the road, meaning maybe say a minute later or so, everybody executes a right face again, and they should all then execute that right face exactly the same. So you have two vertical technique requirements, and then also the horizontal, which is both of them should the first should look exactly the same as the second, and vice versa. So then we have overall accuracy, then adherence to service manual, equipment control, which then is going to be applied for the guide-on bearer, precision, adherence to style, timing, consistency. Training means evidence of training, and as we saw in the overall effect video, there's definite evidence of training. So it's really good. Anyway, for some reason, can't hear the video. I've tried everything that I know using this OBS software, which is awesome. But anyway, let's get to it. All right, so again, I'm looking at individual analysis. This is equipment and movement. So for professionalism, we've got that going on. That's a box 5 for professionalism. They look absolutely outstanding. There's a slight lean back of a few of the members from the waist, bending that back. Some people think it looks a little bit better. You can see that slap step, and also in the video, I know you can hear it. I watched the video. I'm not exactly thrilled with that slap step at all. That's not the appropriate step technique at all. And so that is going to be a seldom. That's a box 1, honestly, for that technique. They're not even showing proper technique. So you can see some rounded arms here, a couple rounded arms when it, obviously should be nice and flat and straight. So uniformity of technique there is not consistent. Uniformity of technique is definitely consistent in their steps, but we don't want that type of step. So they've got uniformity, but it's just not the appropriate step technique. Remember, we're not looking at spacing achievement. We're not looking at alignment. We're looking at the movement of the individual. Seems to be a timing issue with the guide-on bearer moving across. Now, if I was there, I'd tap it out on my phone. The metronome app. Step is too. So that was great. Going from the oblique, it's pronounced oblique, but in the military it's pronounced oblique. So going from the oblique to a halt. Excellent movement there by the team. Great execution. Guidon bearer executes really well for those column rights, having to come back over into alignment with the. So here we can see half step is absolutely not even close to 15 inches. It's barely 6. And the to the rear should have been a 15-inch step forward, and then executing that pivot, and that wasn't a 15-inch step forward. So there's uniformity of technique is there because everybody's staying in line. You can tell that, but it's just not. They're not adhering to the service manual for them. So as the team marches, you can definitely hear that slap of the foot, which I'm sure that some judges think, oh man, that sounds really cool. It's not supposed to sound cool. You're not supposed to have cool as a requirement. So, Commander, you should have stayed centered on the team and called column 3 to the left, and then marched over with the team. Instead of now, calling cadence. So, I've got a problem with calling cadence. If you have to call cadence, then you need more practice. And I know, especially at college level, it's always required to be mouthy. And I get it. Because, unfortunately, Marine Corps drill is just nothing but singing and yelling and constantly, instead of just shutting up and letting the platoon march. I know what I just said, and I know that it ruffles feathers. So, excellent turns. The precision there. Commander, you're moving back. Shouldn't have to. Excellent technique on the pivot as the team comes around. Why you're moving back constantly, no idea. The execution of the movement, though, is precise. Again, that's overall effect, composition analysis.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now we have precision of the team coming in. Really well done. Great execution here. Really good timing. It's nice to have that cascading effect when your arms up or down. Not required, but it looks better in competition. So for the Marine Corps, the requirement of a half step for each of the columns means a toe strike. So the toe strike is the appropriate technique. It's just the feet are coming way too high up the deck. Wristband there with the salute. And didn't move with the team. Just catch up. So the marching technique works very well as far as precision is concerned. The adherence to the service manual, though, that's a problem. So the commander really should have stayed 3 steps away from the platoon the entire time to be accurate in the application of the Marine Corps order. And you can see there that on the step off, nobody leans. They've got a nice push going from the right heel onto onto that first left step. The flanks are just about flawless, honestly. Now, with that, with the halt, there's just that tiny. So that tiny. I'm gonna go back here. I just want to do this real quick. Watch first elevator on this left face. See how the foot flared way out, and I'm now I said element leader. Sorry, first squad leader. That's not proper technique. So that's so let's go to the scores here now. So we're going to look at all of these bullet points. We're going to match them up to one of the boxes with the descriptors and the learning steps here. So as far as professionalism, holy cow, yeah, they constantly apply that. Really well done. Uniformity of technique, absolutely, they're constantly applying it. Overall accuracy, still constantly applying it, but it's a high box 4. So adherence to service manual, rarely, as far as as movement is concerned. So the facing movements, the marching style, with the slap step, half step, the mark time, all of these are actually they're not even performed to the service manual standards. And then we have adherence to service manual. Yeah, that's not happening. So equipment control, guide on bearer, box 5, absolutely, constantly applies. He's at 4950. Honestly, he's doing an excellent job there. Precision, absolutely, box 5. Adherence to style. Then we've got adherence to service manual and adherence to style. So in my refinement of this of my program here, I'd probably just take adherence to style out and leave it to adherence to service manual. Don't know what I was thinking at the time as far as having both of those in at the same time. So timing, excellent job. Consistency, yes, but it was the wrong consistency in some of the places. So remember, we have the uniformity of technique and actually, I tell you what, consistency, uniformity, pretty much the same thing. And I'll probably eliminate that too. Training, evidence of training, yes, there was, and recovery, barely needed any. Really well done on the movement and equipment side. All right, so because of the problems with the adherence to service manual, then what I would do is for individual analysis here, I'm going to give them a it's going to be let's see. Unfortunately, that the uniformity, the adherence to service manual, that's going to knock them down quite a bit. It really should be either a rarely or seldom, but everything else builds them back up as far as the points go. So we're going to, and you can see up here, I have needs work and excellent, a check mark and a plus. So they'd get a bunch of pluses here and a few check marks. So they'd have to readdress and learn new muscle memory, and that would be a very long process. So we're going to go back down to box 3, probably a 24, honestly. Now, just because overall effect might score, let's say overall effect scores a 39. That's a high box a high box 4. Just because that happens doesn't mean that you do it. See, this is why we look from the different directions at the same performance. Everybody currently has the exact same score sheet, and everybody scores exactly the same way. I've been there. I've been to meets, and I put my score down, and there might be one judge who scores a little differently, and then everybody else who's with me either scores the same as the other judge, or they look at my score and they have a sense of where I'm going with it. But 9 times out of 10, everybody else is scoring the same, relatively, within 5 or maybe even 10 points. But then I am really low because I'm looking from this avenue. I have the training, so I apply it. I really can't help it. Even though I've got a score sheet in front of me that is not even close to this system, it's just a whole bunch of the commands, and then I have to score each one of those commands, which I find extraordinarily irritating. That's just a waste of time to 1 through 5, 1 through 5, 1 through 5 for 40, sometimes even more commands. That's just that's ridiculous. Honestly, it doesn't meet the any requirements. So I'm going to give a high box 3 for the team's movement, but then for the equipment, which again would only apply to the the guidon bearer, I'm going to give a 49. All right, and that's there's a little bit to achieve for there, but absolutely outstanding for the guidon bearer. But the team has a lot of work to do, and then I would write that out to revisit the Marine Corps order and execute properly from now on. So, and I'm sure the team would be very upset to understand that, to learn what's going on. So we've got the equipment and the movement sheet taken care of now. That's the merged sheet. So that's all 4 captions, and then we would have timing and penalties. Timing and penalties then would go through and watch all of the commands as they're read off. All the other 2 judges for these merged sheets would be watching constantly, keeping their eyes on the performance, not taking looks at the sheet as if to score every single move. And then you can glance down and try and get an idea of, yeah, okay, I can see box 3. Okay, now, yeah, as it goes on, boy, that looks like a box 4, but yeah, all right. So you try to get an idea, and once you get a little more experience, then it works that well for you. So anyway, thank you. Next is going to be exhibition drill. Thanks.